Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. On this day in 1940, the Allies bombed Hamburg and created enormous damage in that important industrial city in Germany. It was in direct retaliation for the bombing of Coventry 2 nights previously, when much of the centre of Coventry was completely devastated, and this included the cathedral. As you probably know, the ruins of Coventry Cathedral have been preserved. It's among the other things in those ruins are some charred beams from the old ceiling, which apparently fell from the ceiling in the form of a cross and were picked up by a workman the next day and have been made into a cross which now stands in the ruins. Alongside it are the words on the wall, "Father, forgive." And what I think the point of this is to remind us that the kind of retaliation that bombing raid on Hamburg was for the bombing raid on Coventry isn't a creative way forward for human beings. It may have been completely necessary in the context of the war, but it isn't a way that we should proceed if we can possibly avoid it. Jesus' response to the Hebrew philosophy of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth was to say that, in his view, we should turn the other cheek. That's a rather difficult thing to do. It's an ideal response, maybe, but it puts us at enormous risk of the violence that was perpetrated against us being repeated if we just stand there and let it happen. But we can find ways, no doubt, in the different situations that confront us, of doing something similar. And one of the ways is to recognize, I think, that two-word phrase written on the wall it can be a guide for us. Father, forgive. Because it's deliberately not forgive them or forgive us. The assumption is that we all need forgiving, that all of us who are in conflict in that way need the kind of forgiveness because we've got ourselves into that situation, the kind of forgiveness that will hopefully in the end bring healing. I want to try today to be forgiving when I feel like being revengeful, hard though it often is, because the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth philosophy will, as someone wisely said, end up with us all being blind and toothless.